Here are three things I do every single day to make sure that I'm living below my means but not beneath my joy. Number one, I'm checking my bank account balance every day. Every morning. When I wake up, I say a prayer, I check my bank account. I'm not obsessing over what's in my bank account. I'm just looking at it for general awareness of where I am when it comes to my money. Number two, I pause before I make any unplanned purchases. So even as I'm going about my day at work, making sure that, okay, just because my coworker bought it don't mean that I need to buy it. Or even, after work, running errands and stuff. Am I just running errands, or am I just spending unnecessarily something that, I hadn't planned on spending today? Number three, I always remind myself every single day what I'm saving for. Joy and happiness doesn't always come from spending. It comes from knowing that, I'm working towards something that I really want and I'm going to enjoy, like, a trip, or even the time when I took off from work for just 5 months. Your reminders every day might be something different. Maybe you're excited about the holidays, Christmas, Valentine's Day. Maybe you get excited every year about your birthday. I mean, we all should get excited about our birthday, but maybe you go over the top when you celebrate and you are constantly saving all year for that. That's great because that's something that you really want and it's going to help you to save even more. Living below my means is not about restriction, it's about creating space for what really matters to me. And I hope you can also live that same truth.
I tell you what, man, I like what she's saying. My most recent video that I did on the channel, I talked about living beneath your means. And that's really subject, or relative, I should say, to you. What's beneath your means is not what's beneath mine. But the overall concept is something I think that if you can embrace, right, that is one of the secrets to having financial peace, per the title of the video. Before I go any further, let me introduce myself. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Robert, and on this channel, the goal is to simplify the home loan process because I am a lender. NMLS license number 180100. Welcome to the channel. You must know your numbers. From my experience, from taking home loan applications, looking at credit, looking at bank statements, looking at asset statements, there's common themes, there's common characteristics, and those that don't know tend to not want to know because they don't want to deal with reality. So I believe whatever is comfortable for you, the frequency of you knowing your numbers, if it's daily, a couple of times a day, midweek, once a month, however, but you got to check. Because when you pay attention to your numbers, you can see this is how much I actually have to spend. I don't have this amount of money. The credit card balances are getting way too high. I need to be more productive. I need to cut. We don't need these subscriptions, so on and so forth. Number two, she says, pause. Sometimes you got that itch, right? And, after you bought a thing that you thought you want, how many of us have gotten it home or back to where you are? And after a day or so, you look at the thing and you're like, I really, I thought I wanted it, but I didn't. Well, today, in the environment that we're in, there's a lot of options where you can return things. Now, don't get me wrong. Don't just buy things that you want to return. I'm saying those well thought out purchases. Don't game the system. Don't cheat the system. Don't buy it, open it, use it. I'm not saying that. But as an example, I make these videos. In my mind, I'm like, you know what? I see everybody with these DJI mini lav or microphones that they're talking into. It looks good, yada yada yada. But so I went and bought it, and I set it over here on my production desk. And I have this mic. This is fairly expensive. I have other microphones. And when I thought about it, I'm like, okay, Rob, you trying to keep up with the Joneses, because at the end of the day, if the content doesn't merit your attention, all of the accoutrement, all of the things that we think we need, because I'm coveting what other people have, or whatever the reason was in my mind that I thought I needed it, I didn't. So when I buy things, especially big purchase items, I'll set it to the side for a day or two because I've curated places to buy things where I know I have a return policy. And so I'll let it sit for a day or two. After it sat there 2 or 3 days and I really didn't use it, I said, man, let me take that thing back to the store. And so it's not that you can't buy things, but I think in this time that we're living in, especially with the social media and all those types of things, you're affected. It affects me as well. All the marketing, right? And so in my mind, I associated better content with this microphone. Far from the truth, because they have people that just use their cell phone. Most of us have a computer in our hand, and if we would use it the right way, you'd be surprised. They have people that killing the game just with a cell phone, and they don't have the setup that I have. And then the last thing should be the first thing, and it's the most important. What's your why? Why are you buying? And when we get to that root, as my mom would say, get to the root of the matter, right? Well, what's the root? And so when you get there, that's the keys to life. Why we do the things that we do. And so when you know your reason, you know your why, she's saying, hey, I'm going to work and save up for this vacation or whatever. And then when you go and get those things and you enjoy the experience or whatever, there's peace in that. But when you just buying things just to buy them or because you saw somebody else with them, yeah, you got to do a little more digging. And that's how we get in trouble. Let's move forward.
When you get all this money dumped on you, you just want to buy everything you can afford. Financial advice, the best advice that I ever got was actually from The Undertaker, another wrestler. He said, always live beneath your means. I learned that the hard way. I came out of wrestling, I literally lost everything. My house got foreclosed on, but I had a second opportunity to be successful in the film industry. Now that money in the bank means more to me than something that I don't really need. Like, I don't need a Bugatti. I'd love to have a Bugatti, but I'm not paying $5 million for a car because I don't need one. When you get
Hey. This is another thing we have to start doing, in my opinion. You got to take advice from those that actually have done it or experienced it. Too many folks online perpetrating a fraud. So not a huge wrestling fan, but I know enough about, I guess it's the WWE. This is Batista. He was a wrestler. If those of you out there that watch wrestling, if I'm getting it wrong, let me know. But yeah, man, live beneath your means. And these are folks that they got it. They ain't talking about it, okay? A lot of us that watch these videos, we don't have it. And it's credit and debt that's allowing you to look a certain way, but it brings no peace, right? And so he was able to experience a big windfall because of what he was doing. A lot of us don't realize that you may be getting to the money right now, but what you don't know is what tomorrow holds. So if you're in a position where you're getting a lot, the mindset is this: it's going to continue to happen. Let's learn, listen to the old man, listen to Batista. I've experienced this on a lesser level as far as zeros are concerned, but you have to realize what goes up comes down. It's cyclical. So he gets out of the wrestling, as he said, lost all his money because of how he was living, was blessed to be able to get into the film industry, the movies or what have you. And a lot of us don't have a second lick at the stick. He did. And now you hear what I'm saying? He ain't giving nobody no $5 million for no vehicle because it's a vehicle. Why do I have a vehicle? To get me from point A to point B. So whenever I feel like I have to have certain things to make me feel better when it comes to other people, you got to dig into why do you have to do that? You see what I'm saying? Now, if you're a car guy or gal and that's what you really do, it's going to hit different. But you know what I'm saying? A watch don't make you. A certain clothing brand don't make you, right? Beauty comes from within. Wisdom comes from within. All of those sayings that we hear, it's got to be in you and not on you.
My advice to anybody is to live below your means for as long as you possibly can until you can invest the proper amount of money to where the return that you're looking for long term is going to be reflective of the lifestyle that you're looking to build. Okay, we're all tempted. We're all inundated. You have to not be influenced by the culture. And you have to look at yourself and say, okay, what am I trying to achieve here? I'm trying to achieve this lifestyle. I am here currently. I can afford a new BMW and I can afford a condo. Should I get the condo and the BMW, or should I take the money and put it into the business? Well, the answer is, what do you want on the other end of it? Okay, because the longer that you can maintain living small and invest your cash back into your business, the bigger the back end reward's going to be.
Real advice, right? And a lot of us don't want to hear this. Here's the deal. We all can't make moves at the same time. It takes time. It's a process. And unless you're coming from a situation where you're starting off at a higher number because you're standing on the shoulders of someone else that did this, then that's a different scenario. Most of us that are watching these videos and things of that nature, you are establishing something. This goes from the consumption mindset to the investor mindset. It's more than just a word, it's a lifestyle. When you get that influx of money initially, here's the difference. Do you understand what equity means opposed to consumption? Most of us get that big windfall. I'm going to buy the car. I'm going to do all this. I'm going to shine on them, right? Not knowing that you're playing yourself. You're playing right into the hands of going back to zero, and you might not get another opportunity again. So this is what we need to learn from these videos. This stuff works on me, works on all of us. This is why we got to stay together, build a community. And for those of us that are going to implement, because everybody ain't going to do it, it's just what it is. But for those of you that understand, these things will help you out. These are jewels that are being dropped that you can implement right where you are today. And then you'll start seeing a change, because unless you do something different, you can't expect anything different. And you can't get on these channels and just complain and say, I want what you want because I deserve it. It don't work like that. If there was another system that did work like that, we would talk about it, but that's not this one. So you don't need to waste time there. And then lastly, you got to have a goal. You got to have a why. What's your purpose? What are you working towards? You see, we're designed to be creators. You understand what I'm saying? All of this sitting down, waiting on vacation, somebody's giving me something so I don't have to work. That's something we got to start talking about. That's the real problem, in my opinion. Not all of the problems, but that's one major root, okay? Especially for men. They got a lot of men sitting around trying to get to a vacation, get into a lot of activities that don't lead to positive production, and that's a problem. So the secret, in my opinion, to financial peace is laid in these 3 examples. If you want to get onto the housing ladder, your next most important step in that process is partnering with the right team. Let's have a free 15-minute consultation. The first 15 minutes is on me. It's free. Let's interview one another to see if there's a fit. And if there is, then we can work together to devise a plan for you to get into something that you can afford, that's going to cause you to have peace while you live in it, and then plant the seeds for an exit strategy if that's something that you want to do down the line. My information is pinned either in the top comment or the description below. My time is up, but I thank you for yours. As I always say, guys, let's be good to one another. Let us let grace abound. And until the next time, indeed, y'all stay blessed. Remember, check this video out right here.